A big fight started in the year 2025. This fight was between the country of Israel and the country of Iran. Israel attacked places inside Iran. Then Iran attacked Israel with rockets. This made many people scared and worried about more war. China was very worried about this big fight. China's leader, President Xi Jinping, said China was deeply worried. China acted quickly. China asked both Israel and Iran to stop fighting right away. China said they should stop the violence and start talking. China's important minister for talking to other countries, Foreign Minister Wang Yi, spoke to people in Israel and Iran. China clearly said that Israel was wrong to attack Iran. China said this attack broke rules and hurt Iran's country. China's representative at the United Nations also said Israel was wrong. He said Israel should stop its military actions now. China wants peace for the Middle East area. China said that using force cannot bring peace. It can make things worse. China asked important countries like America to help stop the fighting. China also said that Iran should have the right to use nuclear power for peace, not for weapons. China wants all countries to talk and find a way to be safe together. China believes talking is the best way to solve this big problem. 2. China and Iran friends. China and Iran have been friends for a long time. They help each other in important ways. One big way is oil. China needs a lot of oil for its country. Iran has a lot of oil to sell. China buys most of the oil that Iran sells to other countries. China is the biggest buyer of Iran's oil. This trade is very important for both China and Iran. It helps their countries work and grow. China and Iran also made a special plan to work together. This plan is for 25 years. China said it will give Iran a lot of money, like $400 billion, to help Iran's economy. With this money, China will help build big things in Iran. For example, China will help make better ports where ships can come and go. This helps trade get better between China and countries near Iran. The armies of China and Iran also work together sometimes. They do military exercises to practice. Ships from China visit ports in Iran. This shows that their armies are friendly and can work together. But China says it will not send its soldiers to fight for Iran in a war. China does not want to be in a fight with other countries in the Middle East. China wants peace in the area. In big world meetings, like the United Nations, China helps Iran. China supports Iran and helps Iran tell its ideas to the world. When other countries criticize Iran, China often speaks for Iran. China helped Iran ask for a meeting at the United Nations after the recent attacks. China said that attacking Iran's land was wrong. China uses these world meetings to show its support for Iran. So China and Iran are important friends. They trade oil, they plan big projects for the future. Their armies practice together a little, and China helps Iran speak in important world groups. But China is careful. China will not send its soldiers to fight a war for Iran. Their friendship is strong in many ways, but China does not want a big war that could hurt its own plans. 3. China and Israel trade. China and Israel started official relations in the year 1992. Before this, they did not talk much. But after this year, things changed a lot. Their trade, buying and selling things, grew very fast. In a few years, Israel became one of China's biggest friends for trade in Asia. The amount of money they traded became very large, billions of dollars. Israel sells many modern things to China. This includes new machines for talking on phones or computers. Israel also sells medicine and special machines for hospitals. China sells many things to Israel too, like machines to build buildings and electronic things for homes. China also helps Israel build big projects. Chinese companies now help run some important ports in Israel, like in Haifa and Ashdod. They have agreements to do this for many years. Chinese workers also helped build a new train system in Tel Aviv. They also helped build a big pipe for oil going to another country. China and Israel also work together to help new companies start with new ideas. They have a special fund for this. China became a very important friend for Israel's economy. In the early 2020s, only America bought and sold more with Israel. But America, a close friend of Israel, started to worry. The U.S. government said that using Chinese technology or letting Chinese companies build important things in Israel could be a risk for safety. America was worried because Israel is a friend of Western countries. Because America worried, Israel started to be more careful. Israel said no to some Chinese technology for fast internet. They also started to check more carefully when Chinese companies wanted to put money into important Israeli businesses. Israel did not want to stop being friends with China because trade and money from China are important. But Israel also wanted to keep its friendships with countries like America. China has a difficult job. It is friends with Israel for trade, but China also says it supports the people of Palestine. China has said for a long time that Palestine should be its own country. In the news from China, they also talk about the hard situation for people in Gaza. China tries to be friends with both Israel and the people of Palestine. China wants to have good relationships with everyone in the Middle East. 4. What China says in news. China's news channels talked a lot about the fighting between Israel and Iran. They showed what China's government thinks about the war. News from places like Xinhua News and Global Times said Israel started the war on June 13, 2025. They said Israel attacked first. These news reports also said that America helped Israel in the fight. They showed pictures and videos of Israel's attacks on different places in Iran. The news said it was very bad that Israel attacked special buildings in Iran. Attacking places that could be nuclear sites is very dangerous, the news reports said. Attacking any country's buildings without permission is wrong. The news said Israel violated Iran's sovereignty and its land. The news often talked about international law and rules. It said countries must follow rules and not just fight. China's UN ambassador was shown on the news saying China explicitly condemned Israel for violating Iran's country rights. He said Israel must stop its military actions right away. China's president, Mr. Xi Jinping, has a plan for peace. The news talked about this plan many times. It said President Xi wants everyone to stop fighting now. He wants people to talk instead of use guns and rockets. The news said China wants peace and quiet in the Middle East region. It said fighting will not fix problems. Global Times said the international community agrees that force cannot bring peace. The news reminded people that making peace, like the agreement with Iran in 2015, took many years of talking, not fighting. Other news shows and websites in China also showed Iran's side of the story. They had people from Iran talking about the attacks. They talked about how Iran was hurt and what they did back. Websites like Guansha.net and TV channels like Phoenix TV showed this. They said China is a friend to Iran and wants to help find peace. Guansha.net wrote that Iran's foreign ministry spokesman explicitly thanked China as a friend and said China will help. Phoenix TV interviewed important people from Iran live on TV. People in China also talked online about the news and the fighting. They used social media like Weibo and WeChat. Many people were very angry when news came out that Israel attacked a building used by a news TV channel in Iran. This happened on June 17th. The news people in China were also angry about this attack. An important group called the Chinese Journalists Association said this attack on a news building was very bad. They said it was a deliberate assault on a news organization, and it crossed the civilized bottom line. Many people online agreed. They wrote that attacking news buildings and journalists is wrong. This showed how Chinese news and people felt about the fighting. The news reports made it clear China does not like the war and wants it to stop quickly. They showed Israel as the country that started the problem and acted wrongly. 5. What people in China think. Many people in China felt sad about the fight. They had sympathy for Iran and for people in Palestine. This feeling was not new. People on the internet showed their support for those who were hurt. Some felt proud of their own country, China. At the start, some people online thought Iran was very strong. They said Iran could beat the small country of Israel easily. They saw videos showing Iran sending many rockets. They thought this was a powerful answer to Israel's attack. But things changed quickly. People saw that Israel's system stopped almost all the rockets. Not many hit Israel. This made people online think differently. Some users on Chinese internet sites started to see that Iran's actions did not work well. They looked weak to some. A popular idea shared online said Iran was not strong and scared. This idea was posted many times. Some people also felt happy that China was not directly part of the fighting. They saw that war is dangerous. Smart people in China, like those who study countries and wars, also shared their ideas. These experts said that peace is the best thing for China. They said China needs the world to be calm and stable. China buys a lot of oil from countries in the Middle East. If the war grows bigger, it can stop ships from bringing oil to China. This would be very bad for China's economy and its plans. China needs oil to keep its factories running and its people moving. These smart people also understand that China cannot easily make Israel stop fighting. They know that Israel is a strong friend of the United States of America. The United States has a lot of influence on Israel. Chinese experts agree with China's main idea. Countries should talk to each other, not fight. They do not think China should send soldiers to help either side. They try to find ways for China to work with different big countries and stay safe. So, most people and experts in China want peace. They think it is important for China to stay safe and strong and not get pulled into the war. They believe China should protect its own needs in this difficult time. 6. Experts talk about China. Many smart people who study different countries look at China. They want to understand what China is doing in this war. These experts say China speaks a lot about wanting peace. China says countries should talk, not fight. But experts think China does not do very much real action to stop the fighting. Experts say China wants to look like a country that helps. China wants to be seen as a good helper on the world stage. They think China wants to be a country that can help find solutions when there are problems. The experts also talk about money. The war makes oil cost more money. If the war continues and oil prices go up a lot, this is very bad for China. China needs a lot of oil for its economy. Experts worry that if the sea routes where oil travels become dangerous, China's economy will have big problems. This shows China needs the Middle East to be peaceful so its ships can bring oil safely. The experts say the war shows China is important in the world. Countries see China is a big country, and they watch what China says and does. But experts also see that China cannot stop the war by itself. China cannot make Israel stop fighting. This is because Israel has a very strong friend in the United States. China also cannot fully control what Iran does. Some experts in the United States think China's words about helping Iran are not very strong. They think China will not send soldiers or a lot of help to Iran if the war gets bigger. They think China just wants the war to be finished quickly. Other experts look at China's friends, like Russia and Iran. They say because China is friends with these countries, it is hard for China to be friends with everyone, like Israel and its friends. Experts agree that China is being very careful. China wants to keep trading with countries like Israel and countries in the Middle East. China also wants to keep buying oil from Iran. So China tries not to choose one side too much. China wants peace because peace is good for its money and its plans for the future. Experts say China can try to help by telling countries to talk. China can also give help to people who are hurt in the war. But China does not have the power to make the fighting stop. This war is a big test for China. It shows what China can do in the world and what it cannot do. Many experts are watching China closely. They want to see if China can really help bring peace, or if China will mostly just talk about it. They wonder if China is truly neutral or if it secretly wants one side to do better than the other side. 7. China's big plan. China has a very big plan during this time of war. It wants to be friends with two different countries, Iran and also Israel. This is very difficult because Iran and Israel are fighting a war right now. China has important reasons for wanting this double friendship. China has strong connections with both countries. For many years, China has bought a large amount of oil from Iran. This oil is very important for China's economy. China and Iran also have a large agreement from 2021 to work together on many big projects. For 25 years, they are close partners in business and in world meetings like the United Nations. But China also has strong connections with Israel. Since the year 1992, China and Israel have traded many things. Israel sells its new technology and medicine to China. China helps Israel by building big parts of its country, like seaports and train lines. So China wants to keep these good business ties with Israel too. The war between Iran and Israel is very bad for China. War makes the price of oil go up very high. This hurts China's economy because China needs a lot of oil every day. Also, war can make it dangerous for ships to travel. These ships carry many goods for China's trade. China has big plans to increase trade, and war stops these plans. China wants the Middle East area to be peaceful and steady so its business can grow. Because of this, China's main plan is to help stop the fighting. China tells all countries that they must talk to each other to solve problems. China says fighting with force is not the right way. China wants to be seen as a country that helps bring peace. It offers to help countries talk instead of fight. China is careful not to take one side completely. It does not send its soldiers to help Iran fight. It does not send weapons for the fighting right now. China says it wants to be fair and help both Iran and Israel find a way to stop the war through talking. But some people think China might help Iran in other ways later, perhaps by sharing new technology or military knowledge, but maybe not openly. This could be a part of China's long-term plan for the region. China wants to show the world that it is a good and responsible country. It wants to be a leader for peace. It wants other countries to see that China helps solve big world problems and follows international rules. China knows it cannot stop the war alone. The United States is a very close friend to Israel, and China knows it is hard to tell Israel what to do. But China is trying to talk to leaders in both Iran and Israel, hoping they will agree to stop the war and talk. China's big plan is to keep its friendships with both sides, protect its own important needs like oil and trade, and gain respect in the world as a country working for peace and stability. This is a very difficult balancing act for China right now. 8. What happens next? China wants to help stop the war between Israel and Iran. This is a very hard thing for China to do. It is not easy for China to make two countries stop fighting. China has a problem. It does not want to choose one side in this fight. China has friends in both countries, Iran and Israel. China buys many things from both. It sells many things too. So China wants to be friends with both sides. When people are hurt in the war, China will try to help them. China may send help like food, water, or medicine. This shows that China cares about people who are suffering. It is a way for China to do something good during the war. This war is a very big test for China. Many people around the world are watching China. They want to see what China will do. Can China help bring peace? Can China stop the fighting from getting worse? China wants peace because war is bad for its country. War can hurt China's money. China does big business with many countries. If there is war, this business can stop. China needs oil for its cars and factories. A lot of this oil comes from the Middle East, near Israel and Iran. If the war makes it hard to get oil, or if the price of oil gets very high, it will be bad for China's economy. China needs the sea to be safe for ships to carry the oil and other goods. So China will keep talking to the countries that are fighting. It will talk to other big countries too. China will tell everyone that countries should talk to each other, not fight with guns and rockets. China wants to look like a good leader in the world. It wants other countries to think China is wise and helps with problems. China wants to be a country that helps make peace. But China must also think about its own needs. It needs to keep getting oil. It needs to keep its trade routes open. It does not want a very big war that could hurt China a lot. China has a plan for what it will do next. This plan is to stay neutral. This means China will not join the war. It will not send its army to fight. It will not sell many weapons for this war now. China might help Iran in quiet ways later, maybe after the fighting stops or gets smaller. These things might be secret. This could be helping Iran's economy or sharing some ideas, but not open military help during the main fight. China will use its voice in big world groups, like the United Nations. China will say that countries must follow the rules of the world. China might say that some countries are not fair in this war. The war shows that China is now a big and important country in the world. But it also shows that China cannot stop big wars all by itself. Other countries must help too. If the war gets much bigger, it will be very bad for China. It could hurt China's money very much. Other countries might ask China to do more, maybe choose a side, which China does not want. China wants things to be stable in the Middle East. It does not want the government in Iran to change because of the war. China is friends with the current government there. China will try very hard to find a way to stop the fighting. It wants to be seen as a country that helps the world be safe and peaceful. China must be very careful about what it does next. Its actions are important. People all over the world will watch to see if China really stays neutral or if it starts to show it likes one side more than the other. This war is a big test for China and its ideas about making peace for everyone. Can China help? What do you think China should do next?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.